Hi, I'm Mary Cutler, the director of Lex-Ham's production of First Lady by George S. Kaufman and Katharine Dayton, soon to be opening for the final weekend of September and the first weekend of October. Please come, get your tickets now. The reason that I applied to direct this play is because I am indeed an aficionada of George S. Kaufman. I have loved Kaufman ever since my parents took me to see You Can't Take It With You when I was a child in elementary school. The local community theater, which was quite a big one in its day, was doing a production of You Can't Take It With You, and I fell in love. The reason being is they had funny people in it. They had funny characters, and it also had heart. It was warm and rich. It was Americana, and I got all those things apparently as a child, and I haven't given up on those kinds of thinking, those kinds of thoughts about George Kaufman. You will probably know him as well, other than You Can't Take It With You, for his famous Man Who Came to Dinner, and also for George Washington Slept Here. You may know him in his collaborations with Edna Ferber of The Royal Family and Dinner at 8. You may have seen some of these productions on film, even. Merrily We Roll Along, Of Thee I Sing, Stage Door, Solid Gold Cadillac in the 50s, and Silk Stockings, to mention just a popular few. You might know him from a couple of films by the Marx Brothers. I've always been interested in directing anything of Kaufman and his collaborators, Mosshart, Edna Ferber, etc. He seems to come, and they seem to come, from a shining era of American theater, and particularly American comedy. First Lady, double entendre there in that title. Also co-written with Katharine Dayton, who was a society columnist in Washington, D.C., and I assume that Kaufman met her while he was a writer for a Washington, D.C. paper, I believe the Washington Times. They got together and decided that they were going to do kind of an expose, or certainly a satire, on Washington society, and particularly the women behind the thrones in Washington society. When we look at this a little bit closer in 2018, we can see some of the fact that the opportunities in 1930s weren't as many as hopefully there are in 2018 for women. But indeed, women were using the power that they had, as they've attempted to do for millennia. So we're going to take a look at this play through our 2018 eyes, and we're going to say, oh my goodness, how awful, or oh, how sad. But if we study the women of the 1930s in this piece, we can see funny and smart. We'll be able to see women who will give us a good lesson in how to lead, and we'll see also women who will give us a good time of an evening's entertainment. So the plot of this play is ostensibly that two powerful women in D.C., the wife of the Secretary of State and the wife of a Supreme Court Justice, are social frenemies. And indeed, they are both wanting their husbands to be presidents, or at least the presidential candidates. And they vie with one another socially and also politically. You'll see who comes out on top. And indeed, one of the other reasons that I do like Kaufman is that he's a moralist. and he's a patriot. Indeed, he seems to value the kind of American ideals that I believe were written in the Constitution anyway. Sometimes those ideals aren't achieved, but at least they're there, and that we can aspire to. And I think that his play is a timely message for us, because we seem to have a lot of people in power these days who don't really deserve to be there, who don't deserve to be our leaders. And I think Kaufman brings us back to that fact that there are certain people that should be leaders of the country, that those values that American documents upon which we were based aspire to and value. Therefore, I hope you will attend our very strong cast and performance of First Lady at the Wellstone Auditorium, beginning September 28th and running 2 weekends. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak about First Lady.